Polite inquiries. Polite inquiries. Lords. Danny asks, is there any other job in the world where an employee could be hit in the head by something travelling over 90 miles per hour and be expected to continue working later that day, regardless of whether they initially exhibited symptoms of concussion?
Just if you're doing a spacewalk and there's a bit of shrapnel from a previous satellite zooming around the Earth and it cracks you in the helmet, you've got to crack on because there's nowhere else to go.
Rugby League was pointed out to me, you get a head collision and you have an initial test and you could be back on the field playing within 15 minutes and get delayed concussion later. So it does happen. Rakas asks, England late to put foot on pedal while Stokes and Butler were batting?
No.
No.
No, this is a test match.
Yes! I mean, I think people when they're watching have a different view of draws and declarations than people who are out there playing and making the decisions. Joe asks, can you teach us to say Labuschagne?
Labuschagne?
No.
Labuschagne?
If we were South African, I think we would say Labuschagne. That's my best. He's Australian, so it's Labuschagne. Identity Thief asks, is Labuschagne the best concussion sub in the world right now?
He's the only one in Test cricket.
You could actually argue that he's the worst concussion sub in the world right now.
But he has taken Steve Smith's record to 8 consecutive Ashes 50s, and their combined Ashes average for the series is 109.25. So he's done pretty well.
Who's Australia going to drop now that Labuschagne's in there to make way for Smith when he's...
Head, Warner, Bancroft, all of them. They only need Smith.
Fatima asks, is it all downhill from here for Ben Stokes after the summer he has had?
No. He's back. He's in his happy place here. World Cup final win, a century, first century since Bristol. He's here for good.
Shining River asks, Stokes for captain?
Yes. That's a really good idea. I mean, he is vice captain again. Joe Root's not a very good captain, I'm afraid. I thought his use of Jofra Archer was random.
Well, look at it this way. If Joe Root's injured or can't play for whatever reason, then you can imagine Ben Stokes as vice-captain would be captain. So it's kind of heading that way.
It's all about redemption this year, isn't it?
Yeah, they could always go the way of Australia and have like 48 vice-captains. Dan asks, where was Ben Stokes hit? He was hit on the
It was half and half. I heard this on the Never Never, right in the squelchy bits.
Abijato asks, does Jofra Archer risk becoming England's golden goose?
Yes, 100 times yes. I mean, I refer you to previous answer about his use. Joe Root's captaincy of Archer was appalling. There are other guys in this team who can also bowl, particularly when it's overcast, particularly when they've got teams out for 38 on this pitch.
What's that guy?
Only a few weeks ago.
What's his name?
Wackney? Chris Woke?
I can't remember.
Don't know.
Goob asks, can a concussion replacement have a concussion replacement?
We don't know yet, but I think the answer is probably yes.
I think so. Akash asks, which team will be more confident of winning the series after the events of the last 2 days?
I mean, the fact is that Australia only need to win 1 of 3 tests to retain the Ashes, which is frankly their primary objective. They'd very happily settle for 2-2 at this stage. But no, they won't be particularly confident after watching. Watching Archer was like watching the Terminator. You're not real. You're not human.
I'd be really happy if he got to the end of bowling, through his follow through, and just turned to the batsman and said, "I'll be back." But he would say,
he always will be back.
Yeah, it would be take a much cooler way than Arnie. Hugh asks, Sir Jason Roy's hands harder when batting or fielding?
Poor old Jason Roy. Yeah, it was a bit of a goober, wasn't it? I mean, God, if England had broken through then, it could have been pretty dicey for Australia with him there. Big miss.
Maybe he just needs a really good exfoliating manicure.
Always works for me.
Nick asks, has a single catch ever saved a Test career?
Good question. I don't know if it'll save Joe Denley's, but at least he's got that. I mean, God, he'll always have that.
Alan asks, Tim Payne, why did he do that? I think there was a fair bit of the Australians wanted to take Jofra Archer. They've wanted to take him on throughout this. They haven't wanted to take a backward step. Like you saw Marnus Labuschagne get hit on the scone, and then he's like, yeah, I'm all right. Nothing. You know, didn't feel it a little bit. Steve Smith, like, see, he was like for like. George asks, who had the most boundaries?
New Zealand.
New Zealand. See you in Leeds.